Well, hello everybody. My name is Ashton. Joining with me today is Zach. Say hello, Zach.
Hello, Zach.
Today we're gonna make it's not a full-blown episode, but we're gonna make a quick thing about some updates around the sports world that kind of took the world by surprise over the last couple of hours, last 20 some odd hours or 30 some odd hours. A lot of big contracts made, and we'll start in the NFL. Make our way to the MLB, and then kind of finish with college basketball. So that way everything's kind of, wrapped up in a box with a bow tie and a cherry on top with your milkshake, right?
Yes.
Do you like vanilla? Do you like chocolate, strawberry? Which one do you like?
I'm a chocolate guy myself.
You're a chocolate guy.
I also like I like banana. Banana is a fire milkshake flavor.
Banana is a fire milkshake flavor. You can't beat was it Checkers?
Checkers
banana milkshake. Well, anyway, let's start. We'll start with little news and make our way up to big news. So I kind of want to talk about how it affects the team, where I think they might be going, if they go anywhere at all. If they just decide, to say, hey, here's my cleats or my shoes or whatever it is, and just hang them up on a little nail, and say, that's it. I'm going to ride off in the sunset like Jared Allen did on the horseback. But let's start with Fletcher Cox. I think that was very surprising. Future Hall of Famer, great player, and Fletcher Cox just getting – I think he's a future Hall of Famer. He's a great player, phenomenal player for the Eagles, just completely just cut. Where do you think Fletcher Cox goes, or do you think he pulls a Jared Allen and jumps on the back of a horse and rides off into the sunset and hangs his cleats up?
I feel like he's going to get a small contract somewhere. I don't know who, but I've heard rumors of Pittsburgh, but I don't think we have enough cap space. But other than that, I can't really see him going anywhere else, honestly. But
I mean, it'll be weird to see him in any jersey besides an Eagles jersey.
Yeah.
Because, he's been a career-long Eagle as it is. And, arguably, he's had a great career, Super Bowl champion, multiple Pro Bowls. When you think of defensive tackles, of the 2000s and of the 2010s, Fletcher Cox easily is in the top five, in my opinion, at least. Do you disagree with that?
No. I feel he falls into the category of the Julio Jones. He just got released too. So both of them being
another great player,
a couple of the best at their position for a long time. I think Fletcher Cox is still viable. More than Julio Jones would be.
I think he's still a top 20, defensive tackle in the league. He has a lot of skills. He can get away with more how do I put this? A lot of offensive linemen that are veterans can get away with more holds because they know how to do it.
Yeah.
Fletcher Cox is the opposite of that, but on the defensive side. He knows how to he's just that veteran player that can uplift the defense. I think he can go to a team that's a borderline, maybe the Chargers. Maybe he can go to the Chargers.
Had a big rebuild.
Picking up Khalil Mack and having him too with those two veteran presence, that might be the answer for almost at San Diego, because they used to be San Diego, but Los Angeles, Chargers defense. But another player that also got released was a former Patriot on the New York Giants, is Logan Ryan. That came as a little bit of a surprise or a little bit of shock to me because he didn't have a terrible season last year. The reason I bring up Logan Ryan is because somebody who got scored on in the Super Bowl just re-signed too, being Eli Apple, giving up the game-winning touchdown for the Bengals. That was. Do you think Logan Ryan goes to Tennessee again? Do you think he goes back to New England? Do you think he retires? What do you think Logan Ryan does?
I think he's going to go to another team too. But honestly, like I said, I don't even have a speculation as to where, because there's been a lot of Khalil Mack to the Chargers was so random. You couldn't even call something like that. When it comes to some of these free agents, I just have no idea. The only one
Khalil Mack was traded.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Any move, I think it's just hard, especially for a player that's been released. I think it's even harder because they're released for a reason.
Sorry to cut you off. But to top the Fletcher Cox and the Logan Ryan scenario, Fletcher Cox still had 2 years left of his contract, and they will carry $14.9 million of a cap hit until July of next season. So, yes, they cut off his $28 million for next season, but they are still carrying $15 million of his cap space. And Logan Ryan's contract, the Giants will be carrying 11.45 dead cap sitting until the end of the 2022 season as well. And Logan Ryan's salary was only 5.5 for the season. So
players
still
like
touching
that,
on that, was it the right move?
Yeah, we've talked about this before on a couple, I think it was 2 episodes ago, where teams that overpay for certain players, he's not crazy overpaid. They always end up regretting it. So like, I always bring up the Steelers because I'm a Steelers fan and I know more about the Steelers, but I'm just going to go with it. So like Big Ben having his massive contract and this being our first year without him. And you see how many moves the Steelers have made. Like they signed like 7 free agents. They're having like the best free agency.
We're getting to that. Yeah. We're getting to that. Let's go ahead and jump onto that bandwagon then. You guys, so Jacksonville Jaguars cut their best defensive players, or literally cut their best defensive player. In my opinion, Josh Allen is arguably also their best defensive player, but they cut their best linebacker in Miles Jack. Yeah. And literally by the end of the night, I mean, they cut him yesterday, and then by the end of yesterday, he had signed with the Steelers. Like, it was literally that quick. So I don't know if there was like something happening there, if there was a rift. I'm not, I don't have any inside people in the NFL. But how do you see Miles Jack fitting into the
don't even get me
defense?
started. I love it.
No, how do you see it for real? How do you see it fitting in?
So our 2019,
especially with Tomlin, bro, like Tomlin being a defensive
and
genius. How do you see it
Flores too, as our defensive? Well, and he's not defensive coordinator, but
linebacker coach.
Yeah,
right.
Where I think he'll
low key
help.
Plays.
Yeah. So them signing Miles Jack is huge because other than Devin Bush, like Joe Schobert was okay, and Spillane is like very one dimensional. Mm-hmm. So getting Miles Jack next to Devin Bush, Devin Bush had a really off year, but like I think he still has time to be better. So them
he's
two,
young. He's only what, like 24, 25, maybe younger than that.
And then they just signed the Bills cornerback, was it Levi Wallace, who's he's like a small name player.
Hold up. We got breaking news.
This seems to happen a lot.
Davante Adams has just been traded to the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow. Wait, really?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I will. Yes. Here, hold up. I will show this right now just so you can see this. Let's see what they got for it. That's insane. Davante Adams.
No, the Packers just screwed themselves by re-signing. Rodgers is a good quarterback, but like they just spent so much money on him.
All right. So it's not that bad of a trade. It's not that bad of a trade for what they got. So hold on. It's not that bad of a trade for the Packers. So the Raiders had 2 first-round picks this season, as well as a first-rounder next season. They got 3 first-rounders for him. So they got the 2 first-rounders for this season and a first-rounder for next season.
The Packers did?
So the Packers did. So for this season, they got their 2 picks, which is like, I think they're both almost under 20. I think one of them is definitely like in the top 15. But I'm not 100% certain where theirs falls because they were a borderline playoff team, like where their actual pick, because they traded for I can't remember whose it was. It might have been Chicago's or somebody's like that. So they could potentially have a lottery pick, but who knows? But from what I'm reading, the Packers are trading the Pro Bowl wide receiver Davante Adams to the Las Vegas Raiders for 2 prime 2022 picks and a 2023 first round pick as well. So that's I mean, dude, they just went out and spent a bunch of money on Aaron Rodgers, and now they franchise tagged Davante Adams, and now like we talked about that last time was like, where like what happens with Davante Adams since he wouldn't play on the franchise tag. So like,
I guess they kind of made up for it. Yeah, they kind of made up for the Packers. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers deal. For him being so old, that deal is insane to me. And then I guess they made it kind of back with the Davante trade, but.
I mean, I don't see how Aaron Rodgers is gonna go to the playoffs this season without Davante Adams. I mean, it's very. As good as Aaron Rodgers is, man, he needs good receivers.
His
He needs
receivers
good
are
receivers.
Alan Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and
Yeah, that had not even household names. And then you just mentioned Devontae Adams being traded, and it's like
the Raiders. That's a big move. I wonder. The Raiders are always like, okay.
The Raiders are stacking up, man. The Raiders are stacking up this season. I think
2 players.
Yeah, well, also you got to realize we're going to go down a little rabbit hole here too for another scenario. It's the whole Henry Ruggs situation. Yeah. They lost out on somebody who I thought was going to be a great receiver. That dude was fast as hell. And literally he decided to go fast as hell in a car and ruin his whole career. But hopefully he does. He can get his life back on track somewhere and pick up. Pull a Michael Vick and pick up a couple years down the line. I hope that's the case. But also, speaking of wide receivers going somewhere else, Allen Robinson, a Pro Bowler for the last, I think, 3 seasons.
That's a nice move they did.
Signed with the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the question is if Odell Beckham Jr. comes back. If he doesn't come back, there's his replacement. If he does come back,
I think they made that move specifically because they didn't think OBJ was going to stay. So,
but if he does, imagine if he does at this point, it's like.
I think they wouldn't have made the move if they.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but imagine if he does, and now you have literally in my opinion, this is strictly my opinion, the Buccaneers 2.0 last season with 3 great receivers and a great tight end. So it's like.
Yeah,
so they
already have Cooper Kupp.
They have a great offensive line already. So
Cooper Kupp, Bobby Trees, OBJ, and then Allen Robinson.
And now Allen Robinson.
I don't think they're going to keep OBJ.
I don't think so either. Or they might be planning to see what they can get for Robert Woods.
I don't think. Him coming off that injury is not going to be great.
I agree. I don't know. But let's keep talking about the NFL for a second. The Buffalo Bills released Cole Beasley. And what to me was also another surprising decision, even though he's also up there in age. He's 35, 36. But he had a tremendous season playing slot. He's a little slot guy. Hopefully, now that he got released, here's where, because you had also mentioned Julio Jones. Yes. So now I see 2 players that the Buccaneers can pick up and throw right into their system, being Cole Beasley, being the Brady slot guy, the little white guy that he loves, being Cole Beasley, the little Julian Edelman.
They already have Scotty Miller.
Well, I would say Cole Beasley better than Scotty Miller. But, that's an upgrade. But, yes, you're right. Well, Scotty Miller's not really a slot guy. He's the outside guy. He just runs a deep route. Scotty Miller runs a deep route. Yeah. Antonio Brown was their slot guy. So was Godwin. Godwin and Antonio Brown was their slot guys.
I don't see the Bucs going for any more wide receivers. I don't think they need to.
I think Brady will probably say, hey, let's see if we can't talk to Beasley or Julio, because I think that they can slide them in, perfectly fit them, and play Julio on the outside and put Godwin in the slot and have Godwin just run slot and just run 3 receiver trips the whole time. And, imagine that offense with those 3. Or even with Cole Beasley and let Godwin line up on the outside and swap them out constantly.
Because
it could happen.
I'm trying to think of teams that would need a wide receiver. For either,
I'm going to say another team that somebody else is going to constantly overthrow, the Browns. But speaking of the Browns,
Jarvis Landry today, too. Wherever he can
Jarvis
go.
Landry's gone. Yeah, wherever he's gone.
Baker's going to be gone.
Baker's requested a trade today too, so I'm curious to see what that happens.
Crazy how that all fell apart.
It's insane, but just looking at everything that's happened, it's been a day.
I love free agency,
Demario Davis and Malcolm Jenkins and Taysom Hill all restructured their contracts, so the New Orleans Saints freed up about almost $20 million in cap space for this season for restructuring their deal.
Deshaun Watson.
There you go. I was calling that one too. But they restructured 3 deals from them. Harrison Smith also restructured his deal to clear up $7 million in cap space. I wonder what the Vikings are up to. I don't really know. This is interesting sighting to me. The Buffalo Bills signed OJ Howard, considering they already have Dawson Knox.
I didn't know that.
So is OJ Howard going to have to cater to another Gronkowski situation with Dawson Knox, where he's going to play the number 2 tight end?
Yes.
And basically just be a blocker and,
It's like
a secondary
the
receiver.
Hooper scenario. It's like they're both good. It's just
one. See, OJ Howard, I felt like OJ Howard had such a great promise, and then like Gronkowski signed with the Bucks, and it was just like OJ Howard got slid over because how good Gronk is, and it's just like, what can you do? Yeah. As good as OJ Howard really is, and he only signed for a 1 year, $3.5 million contract with Buffalo, which is surprisingly low for actually how good he actually is. He just hasn't had he hasn't had the production because he's had to play beside Gronkowski.
I have another one. The Jags making it feels like they released Miles Jack, a good defensive player, and they haven't been making a lot of moves defensively, but offensively, like they signed Evan Ingram. Is it Christian Kirk? Didn't they get another wide receiver?
Actually, I don't know if it was Christian Kirk. I think he signed with. No, you're right. It was Christian Kirk. Yes.
Didn't they sign another one? Or am I getting them mixed up with the Dolphins? The Dolphins just signed.
The Jags signed a defensive tackle for a 3-year, $30 million deal, which was Foley Fatuski or Fadukaski.
No.
Fadukaski. I have no idea who that is. And he got a $30 million deal. That's $10 million a year. Huh? $10 million a year. Another player that, all right. So this is strange to me. You release a 35-year-old receiver just to turn around and sign a 34-year-old to a 6-year, $120 million deal in Von Miller to the Bills. The Von Miller signed with the Bills for a 6-year, $120 million deal. He'll be 40 almost by the time that contract's over.
There must be something we don't know about signing old good players to big contracts, because I think they could just easily restructure them. I think that's like the idea around it, or they can easily just cut it off if they have to. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the logic is. Obviously, there's something I'm not getting.
6 years, bro. 6 years.
Like he might not make it all those 6 years. So like, I wonder if there's like a little side thing to like after he plays through 4, it'll end up being like a $50 million contract. You know what I'm saying?
It could be the case. And, speaking of 40-year-olds still playing, Andy Lee, he's been a punter for like almost 30 years, I feel like, since I was a kid. Just signed another contract with Arizona. It doesn't state for how much or how long it is for, but I imagine it's not for, another 10-year deal for him. So, I imagine he'll play till he's 50.
Lock up that punter, huh?
Yeah, right. But another older guy that got signed to a bigger contract as well was Casey Hayward, a quarterback. He's 33, 32, former Steeler, I think. He signed for a 2-year, $22 million contract. That's $11 million a year for the Falcons. Andrew Norwell, a guard from the Jaguars, signed a contract with the Washington football team. Well, technically the Washington Commanders now. I still see the W, so I'm still calling it the football team because I haven't seen the Commanders logo yet. So that's on me. Yeah, the Commanders. How do you feel about that, by the way?
Everyone hates it.
You like the name?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I like the name.
I like the
I like the name.
I like how they incorporated the black into it too. Yeah. Like their logo and uniforms. I like it. Everyone was like hating on it. I don't know. People just hate to hate sometimes, I feel. But like, I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think people do hate to hate. So speaking of also going back to the Devontae Adams trade for Las Vegas also made a move to sign a defensive player, an outside linebacker, an edge rusher. And probably in my opinion, this is my opinion, the best outside linebacker the Patriots have had in the last 20 years in Chandler Jones. 2-time Super Bowl champion in Chandler Jones signed a 3-year, $52.5 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders don't have any more wide receivers, do they?
I think that's it.
Wait, they have Devontae Adams. Zay Jones got signed to the Jaguars, and then
Zay Jones, that's who it was.
I knew they had another wide receiver, and then who just let Henry Ruggs got in trouble. So like
Henry Ruggs got in trouble.
Who are their other wide receivers?
They have
what's his name? Hunter
Renfrow.
Yes.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow, the little white slot guy.
That
slot guy that Brady would love to have. And then also they have their tight end Darren Waller. He's a freaking monster, man.
Yeah.
See, all right, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, and this is where things are going to get very.
Uh-oh.
All right, so this also just in. Hold up. Devontae Adams.
We love the breaking news.
So the sign-in trade. It was actually a sign-in trade. Obviously, his contract was for 5 years, $141 million after being traded from the Packers to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's
$141.25 million. That's insane. 141 and a quarter
for fantasy.
What's the like, dude? Just get rid of the quarter. What's the extra $250,000? Was that one more Lamborghini? Like, dude,
yeah, come on now. It's so.
Another defensive tackle that I think is also pretty decently good. Signed with Baltimore, which was Michael Pierce. Signed a 3-year, $16.5 million contract.
They just signed and then lost Zadarius Smith, I think.
Zadarius Smith. I was about to say that they signed and lost Zadarius Smith. I don't know what caused the situation or what it really was. But maybe he's going back to Green Bay. I don't know. With Devontae Adams getting traded, who knows? They might have the cap space now. That's crazy. That is like.
Every time we
So the pick from the Raiders was the 22nd, and it is a lottery pick that is to be determined. So it was a lottery pick that is to be determined. So
signing.
Who knows what that pick's going to be, because when the lottery happens, we'll figure that out. Crazy day in the NFL. Crazy day in the NFL. I think it's just going to lead up into what we're about to talk about for baseball and everything else coming up here. But let's talk more about one scenario, since this is kind of the big news of the day. How are the Raiders going to do with Devontae Adams? Do you think Derek Carr is going to perform better with a receiver like Devontae Adams,
yes,
or do you think he's going to target him too much?
Big Ben would be better with a receiver like Devontae. I would be better with a receiver like Devontae Adams. I think the Raiders are going to be very good this year. No matter
and you got to realize they also just signed Chandler Jones, so they have that defensive leader that they missed out on last season.
It's going to be fun to watch. AFC West.
It's going to be really fun to watch.
It's going to be Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, Chargers. They might be the best division in the NFL now.
I think that's the strongest division right now.
That's insane how good that division is.
Whoever wins that division is going to be like the cream of the crop, and it's going to be like, whoever. That's a very good division, insanely good division.
I think they finally. It was the NFC West that was always good. Yeah.
NFC West for a long time.
I don't even think it's close anymore. I think it's the AFC West, like, no diff.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's just been a crazy day. The last couple of days have been very, very crazy with everything that's happening.
It's Christmas time,
and I love it as well. So I mean, there's still players to be got out there. Odell Beckham Jr.,
Tyrann Mathieu.
Tyrann Mathieu, there's still players to be got.
Juju's still out there.
I'm curious, where do you think Juju's going?
From what the looks of it are, he might return to the Steelers.
That's a shocker.
But
speaking of the Steelers, you guys signed a player. Or no, I don't. Did I dream that? I might have dreamed that you guys signed a quarterback.
Nice. We got Trubisky.
I think I dreamed it. You got who?
Trubisky.
That's who it was. Mitchell Trubisky. My bad. Yeah. I didn't dream that. Okay, I wasn't dreaming that. How do you think Trubisky's going to do in?
Ready? Another unpopular opinion. It's always. I think he's going to be good.
That's good.
I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to be what. He's not on like the elo of the Patrick. Obviously, not the Patrick Mahomes or anything. I feel like that's like I would put him in a B tier. I would put him in a B tier of goodness.
You're about to compare Mitchell Trubisky to Patrick Mahomes.
No, I knew I was going to go there. I didn't need to go. He's not anywhere near Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is an S tier quarterback. Yeah. I would put Trubisky in a B tier or low A tier. Like
so who
very
are
low
your S tier quarterbacks like right now?
S tier quarterbacks.
Who are your S tier quarterbacks?
Patrick
I
Mahomes.
can say there's at least 3. I can say
Patrick
there's at
Mahomes.
least 3.
And when people were saying that he was falling off last year, I couldn't believe it. Like Patrick Mahomes is by far the best quarterback in the league, talent wise.
Absolutely.
Not even close, actually. And then Josh Allen, S tier.
Okay. I'd agree to that.
Joe Burrow can be. He's not there yet.
Okay.
You could make an argument for Justin Herbert. That dude's insane.
I'd say he's teetering. I'd say he's there, but I think he needs some
Aaron
big
Rodgers,
wins under his
I think
belt.
is S tier.
Yeah.
Let me start thinking of like A tier. A tier, I'd probably put the Derek Carrs.
You're missing the one guy. Come on, man.
Tom Brady is an A tier.
Tom Brady is not an A tier. Stop
Tom Brady
it.
is very
you're
much
hating
so.
to hate.
I'm not
hating to hate. You're hating to hate. Brady is the greatest player of all time. You're not going to give him an S tier.
He's had good teams. He's a good quarterback.
Dude,
he's a very good.
Listen to me.
It
don't matter who Brady. No.
Listen to me.
Okay, go ahead.
He's a very good quarterback. He is, and we all know that.
You're going to put Aaron Rodgers ahead of Tom Brady.
Not when it comes to historical greatness, but when it comes to talent, yes. Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady.
Who can throw better?
Aaron Rodgers, not even close.
Stop it. Who can thread the needle better?
Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
Okay. Who holds the records for the most touchdown passes in a single season?
What? Way to cherry pick a stat. I'm saying talent-wise, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady talent-wise. Josh Allen's talent-wise better than Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is talent-wise better than Tom Brady.
These are all debatable subjects because, like, you know.
Yeah, it's an opinion.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hold on. Yes. You're right. No, you're right that Patrick Mahomes has more skills, like when it comes to being a quarterback, than Tom Brady. Yes. Yeah. The only thing I think Pat Mahomes is better at Brady right now is the long ball and getting out of the pocket. That's it. Like accuracy, nobody beats accuracy better than Tom Brady. Nobody beats managing a game better than Tom Brady. Nobody
He's also
beats
90.
But you can't, dude. If you do not say Tom Brady is an S tier quarterback, we're gonna fight. Like we're gonna have a fight. He is not an A tier. Stop it. So who are you putting in the A tier then with Tom Brady?
Herbert, Burrow, Lamar.
Every one of them Brady beats by a landslide.
They're in the same tier. I'm not saying
every one of them Brady beats by a landslide. I think the top three. Stop it.
The S tier quarterbacks, I think, are better at quarterbacking. Than Tom Brady.
I'm curious. Brady threw for almost 5,000. Oh, he did throw for 5,000 yards.
I didn't say he was bad. I'm just saying.
But he threw for 5,000 yards last year at 44 years old.
I never said he was bad.
S tier?
His wide receivers were also really good, and his offensive line is really good.
That don't matter. Like, what do you mean?
It does kind of matter. I think it does.
No, stop it.
Okay,
stop it.
Okay, hear me out one more time. Hear me out for one more point. I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady.
Clearly you are.
I just put him in the A tier. That's a good rating.
He should be in the S tier.
Okay, like I said, hear me out. Tom Brady has always had a good winning is a team stat. He's always had a good offensive line. He's always had a good defense. And he's always been a good quarterback. He's always been a very, very good quarterback. I think right now in his career, I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's better than Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. That's all.
He's definitely, dude. Stop. All right, hold on.
That's all. That's all.
Time out. I agree with you that there's only a handful of S tier quarterbacks. I agree with you on that. But the fact that you're not going to put the greatest player of all time in this list, regardless of how old he is and who he plays with,
this isn't an argument about his wins and how much he's won or his history. It's about who's a better quarterback.
Yeah, to talk
I think there are 3 better quarterbacks than him. And
that's debatable though. It's debatable to say that Josh Allen is better than Tom Brady right now.
Yes, I think
is debatable. Even though Brady's 45 years old, Brady can still throw better than Josh Allen when it comes to like accuracy.
Accuracy, maybe.
There's no better check down thrower right now than Tom Brady. You cannot deny that. You cannot look down into the camera and tell me that.
a very good skill.
That's a 10-yard. What do you, dude? Check down's not a good skill.
All quarterbacks in the NFL can check down. That's the whole point.
No, they can't. What are you talking about?
Drew Brees got half of his yardage off of check downs.
And so does Tom Brady. What?
That's not a very good argument.
All right. It is a very good argument.
Being able to check down is
quarterback can throw a check.
Being able to check down.
Quarterback can throw it. Can Baker throw a check down?
Baker sucks.
But you're not. All right, can Baker throw a check down consistently?
Yeah.
No.
I think every quarterback is. I think there's quarterbacks that do it better. Tom Brady's better than Baker. I'm saying I don't think check downs is a good. I don't think being able to throw a check down is a good argument for what a good quarterback is.
Oh my God! Because all right. What is the definition of a quarterback? How do you win a football game, Zach? You try to score the ball, right?
I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback.
So you constantly move the ball down the field, right? You're constantly moving the ball down the field. If Brady's had the greatest argument in the history where he's like, if they keep giving me 5 yards, I'm going to take those 5 yards every time because in 2 throws I got a first down. I can go 2 for 3 and get a first down in every drive, and then I'll score by handing the ball off. You know, Brady is the greatest game manager that's ever played in the history of football. And you're going to sit here and tell me
I think right now in his career, he's not the best quarterback.
Let me finish. I agree with you in that statement. I
then
agree with you.
About?
But he's still an S-tier quarterback.
I think he's high A tier.
What do you mean?
You obviously like Tom Brady that much. I'm just saying. In my opinion, I think he's a high A.
Look, you got to have 4 in the S tier. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to.
He's an S tier quarterback.
Thank you. All right, that's all I wanted to hear. Now continue. Who's your A tier?
I think in the S tier, he's the 4th.
I'm okay with that, but I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. You just cannot not put him in the S tier.
I personally think he's an A tier, but I'll let you have this. He's an S tier, whatever.
Dude,
so A tier. I think Justin Herbert's a better quarterback right now than Tom Brady is.
That's debatable, though. But go ahead.
It's debatable, yes. It's my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. It is your opinion.
And then go ahead. I think A tier is
blasphemous, as Stephen A. Smith would say. It's blasphemous.
I think more people would honestly lean towards my opinion on this.
Dude, I doubt that one.
So go ahead. I think Lamar, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr.
Throw Tom Brady in there. Go ahead.
Russell Wilson. I think Tom Brady's better. I think he's good. But I think there are still definite 3 better than him. The whole A tier could be argued. So picking up with Derek Carr.
With one name, Tom Brady.
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
Tom, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, please play great this year because this guy thinks that you suck.
When did I say it? Okay, I know you're kidding now. I know you're kidding now.
Your sister's motivation, Tom.
Yeah, and then who else would be A tier?
Oh man,
I'm going through all the divisions in my head.
All right, this is going to be a hot take. This is going to be a super hot take.
Let's hear it.
I think Carson Wentz is an A tier.
I think he just gets B tier.
I think he's an A tier, and the reason being he gets so much hate, dude. Carson Wentz gets so much hate.
He's not comparable to Justin Herbert, though.
He's not, but
that's what makes him B tier, in my opinion.
Okay, all right, you're right. If he's not in that scenario, you're right. So, but I still think Carson Wentz can be an A tier.
I think he can be, but
I think this season he's gonna ball out because he's got Terry McLaurin, and he's got who's that other receiver that they had that was hurt all last year? Curtis Samuel. He was a former Carolina guy. I watched him play at Carolina a lot last year or 2 years ago. My bad. I think he can have a great season with Antonio Gibson. Yeah. You know, he can carry the load a little bit. You know, they have a ground
Jonathan
game
Taylor last year.
Well, dude. I'm saying like his receivers wasn't like, you know, Scary Terry or Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
You know, those they weren't on those levels, you know. So I think like
we can have a whole list dedicated to this.
Well, the Commanders also have a decent defense. You know, they have 3 great defensive tackles that are like what are they going to do with all 3 of them? Like it's like De'Aaron Payne. Who is it? De'Aaron Payne.
I know who you're talking about.
Matthew Iodonis.
Sweat.
Sweat's like a left end.
Uh-huh.
And he's a defensive end. And then Chase Young is also a defensive end.
Yeah.
But their defensive line, they have like 5 players that are insane.
Yeah, they were kind of off last year though.
But they're insane. They're great. I think with a good offense, I think that they can do some damage. I think so.
I think
with Carson Wentz under the helm, I think it will be
I just don't think he's comparable to A tier quarterbacks.
I agree. Well, speaking of A tier quarterbacks, so you had Herbert.
Burrow, Lamar.
Well, even Burrow is arguable in the S tier at times, like you said. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's just straight. I think he's the definition of A tier.
Yeah, he can be S tier.
Derek Carr and Russell Wilson.
You're gonna put Derek Carr in the A tier?
Yeah. Okay. And then
I would put him in B, but that's all right.
I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks on the league. Deshaun Watson, if he plays, is A borderline S.
A tier. He's definitely A tier.
And then
I'm gonna do this because it depends on if he plays or not.
Thinking.
Well, yeah.
We'll go into B tiers. B tier, I would put. I would
put Tannehill straight B tier.
I think Tannehill's the definition of B tier. Yeah. I would
put quarterback.
Yeah. I would put Trevor Lawrence, Carson Wentz, Trubisky.
You gonna put Trevor?
Yes.
Trevor in the B tier?
Yes. I think skill wise.
Put him in the fucking out of the league tier last season.
He's also a rookie. You can't. I think he's shown that he can play.
Well, he also you got to realize he had a coach last season that had no business coaching the NFL.
Yeah, that too.
And he brought in Tim Tebow after 6 seasons to come play tight end, and that was a horrible experiment.
Yeah.
Like Tim Tebow's career as a Jaguar, like it showed him going for a block, and like he got pancaked.
Yeah.
And then they got him like the next day.
Who's
I put Tebow in the S tier just because of the star power, bro.
Yeah. Davis Mills from the Texans.
Yeah.
Really underrated. I don't know where I would put him tier wise.
I think he's a B tier. He's a B tier.
I don't even know what he would do, dude. I don't even know what to call him.
He's got good receivers in Brandon Cooks and
I'm trying to think.
Well, last year he had old Packers guy. I can't remember his name. The receiver from the Packers. Randall Cobb, I think, was on the Texans last year.
He got traded to the Packers halfway through the year.
Okay, so yeah, he was on the Texans.
Garoppolo, I would say, is like B tier.
Yeah,
I would say he's B tier.
Yeah. I put Trey Lance in that tier as well.
I don't put Trey Lance. I put him in like C or D right now. I don't see it. From what I've seen, I'm not sold on him. Zach Wilson's probably C tier.
Okay.
Where's
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold, C.
Okay.
Jameis Winston is C. Maybe
Jameis
B.
Winston.
Maybe no, not B. He's C.
No.
Patriots quarterback. Who was he? Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. He's about a B.
I'd say he's about a B. He's not an A.
He's a B or an A.
I think he's straight B.
I'm saying he's about a B or an A, like somewhere in that category. He can land in any of those, and I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. The bottom feeders of the league.
I think Mac Jones has potential. I think Mac Jones has potential, like with Bill Belichick and with Josh McDaniels.
I think his situation's really good. I have to take that into consideration.
Yes. So I think I'm
gonna look it up.
I think if the Patriots can, build a core around him and get a good protection built around him and some other stuff, I think Mac Jones could be easily a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I would say Kirk Cousins also falls into A. I think he's underrated, Kirk Cousins.
No. I'll give you.
I'm going to push everyone down a thing and put him in B because I don't think he's comparable to Justin Herbert. I'm going to put him in B. And then, so keep the A tier the same. Push everyone I just said down a tier, and then put Kirk Cousins starting off with B. So, I would put him in B. I would put Matthew Stafford in A too. Borderline B. No, I think I'd put it A.
He's definitely A. You just want to.
Matt Ryan probably. Yeah, Matt Ryan C. His team's also really good. Matt Ryan C.
Dude, I think it's crazy how Matt Stafford never won a playoff game before this year and then just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
first year out of Detroit.
Jared Goff, I think is not good. I think he's D tier.
He just he was so
what's his name?
Goodly average on the Rams, and then with the Detroit, you're just dude, Detroit is where careers. It just shows quarterbacks where careers die.
I'm looking at the list right now. Kyler Murray, A tier.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Baker Mayfield, D tier.
Mitchell Trubisky.
I'm gonna say it. B tier.
You're saying that because now you got to deal with him. Yeah,
I think he can be B tier. I think right now he's C tier, but I think he can be B tier.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, C tier.
Okay. He has potential.
Yeah. I think all the rookies are C tier.
I think he can be. Well, you put Trevor Lawrence in the B tier.
I moved them all down a tier.
That's fine. That's fair. All right. Well, with that said, I think you touched most of the starters. Let's move over to the MLB.
Dope.
MLB transactions, and then we'll get in the NCAA. Hopefully, we'll be out of here shortly. Mike Soroka from the Atlanta Braves, arguably their best pitcher, signed a contract to avoid arbitration. So I think that was a great move by the Braves. However, staying with the Braves here, they made a trade for Matt Olson from the Oakland A's, and that opened up the door for legendary first baseman Frederick Freeman to walk over to the Los Angeles Dodgers, where he signed a 6-year deal with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Matt Olson signed an 8-year extension with the Braves. So Matt Olson, in my opinion, is a phenomenal replacement for Freddie Freeman. He's a lot younger. He has the bat. He can give you 30, 40 homers, but he's still not Freddie. He's not Freddie Freeman by any means, but like he was that replacement. That was like, if there was ever a replacement, Matt Olson was that replacement, which is crazy. But how do you see the Dodgers, fitting in with Freddie Freeman? Where do you see Max Muncy doing, since he was their first baseman and he's an all-star?
If you've watched past episodes, anyone, I am not a huge fan of how the MLB does things salary-wise, because it makes teams like the Dodgers impossible to It's so hard to enjoy free agency.
Big market team.
Yeah, it's hard. Like NFL, we just talked about it for 40 minutes, and the teams like the Jaguars, the Raiders, the Jaguars not being a great team, still making big moves, and it makes it exciting. Anyone can go anywhere. It just feels like the MLB. It's just good players only go to good teams, and teams my free agent fund for the Pirates is a 27-year-old that's never going to play, and it's it's hard. It's hard for me to get into the MLB as much. I like baseball. Baseball is one of my favorite sports. It's just I can't enjoy it when 3 teams dominate every year, and it's impossible to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Or the Pirates are notorious for signing a player that's injured, and then that player takes them for $3.5 million, and then never plays. There's been 5 players over the last 10 years for the Pirates. Lonnie Chisenhall was one of them from the Indians.
We literally paid him to sit on his couch.
There was 4 other players besides him that the Pirates picked up.
Yeah, we picked up it was Angel. It was Vogelsong. The dude was 37. They're let's pick him up.
Played 1 game all year, had an injury the rest of the time. You paid him $8 million.
Yeah, and it sucks because I was young when the Pirates were on their little
oh man,
their good streak.
McCutcheon and all that.
Yeah, from 2012 to 2015, I was 12 and to 15, and I didn't understand free agency or contracts back then as I do now. And I was I never understood. That's probably the last time I'm ever going to experience a good Pirates baseball season, and it really annoys me.
Dude, I think we were talking about with the Royals last time, where the small market teams have their window, where we talked about that. I think the Pirates will have their window again, and I think it's coming sooner than you think, because you guys got.
We were saying 2023, 2024. We were talking
Yeah, I think the Pirates window is that 2023, 2024 year, and the reason is because you got Ke'Bryan Hayes. You got Brian Reynolds, you got Henry Davis. Yeah. You got a lot of players that are young and developing, and I think if they develop, you guys can be nasty. I really see that happening.
It also doesn't help.
You guys can have a scary lineup.
So
and I think if y'all trade for and there's been talks that the Pirates are trying to trade for Rafael Devers. There's been talks that y'all are trying to trade for Rafael Devers. He's a young third baseman.
It'll waste his career.
I don't think so. I think if you guys acquire him for some minor leaguers and some picks or something, I think you guys can have a solid core, a good 4 or 5 players.
Not only did we
but are y'all gonna be able to afford them after those times?
I know that's the problem. And then the thing is, how a couple of years ago we made a trade. We made the trade for Chris Archer, and we got rid of our 3 best prospects for him.
for
and then Chris Archer went back to the Rays, and I was like,
he only had Tommy John surgery.
Yeah,
I think that season,
it was something with his elbow.
Funny with the Pirates.
I know. You're preaching to the choir here. I understand all the problems.
For Pirates, but speaking of a small market team winning, is it really a small market team though? Are the Rockies really a small market team? I think they're medium.
Bryant. I think they're medium.
Chris Bryant signed a 7-year deal.
None of us saw that coming. Like we were all talking.
None of us saw that coming.
It's kind of hard to tell when someone's going to go.
I saw him going to the Phillies, man. I thought he was going to go to the Phillies and go team up with Bryce Harper because they're best friends. I did not expect that at all. Where's Trevor Story? Can they resign Trevor Story, or is he just?
He's shortstopped out.
Well, dude, his contract.
Oh, with all that, with the contract eating up.
With the contract, can they resign Trevor Story?
They're gonna have a hard time signing anyone. Probably. The one team I didn't realize was such a really big market team was the Padres.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that until they started signing people. Like this guy just got signed for $4 trillion, and I was like, I didn't even think they had that much money. They just kept signing
what
people.
In the world? So back to the Freddie Freeman situation. We got away from
the Dodgers.
That question.
Yeah, Dodgers.
The Dodgers and the Braves.
I think the Dodgers.
Who's performing better this year?
On paper, the Dodgers are going to perform better than everyone every year. But
or the Yankees, on paper, the Yankees and Dodgers show.
Yeah, baseball, man, I can't stand it. It's like I love baseball, but yeah, the Dodgers. I think they're getting him is big, but I don't think they really had a problem at first, anyways.
Yeah, they had Max Muncy, so he's still there. So what do they do with Max Muncy?
I think the Dodgers are going to be good again.
So with the player bargain agreement that was just agreed on. They're keeping the ghost runner on second base in extra innings. I'm not a big fan of that. I as a baseball player, I'm not a big fan of that whatsoever. I feel like you need to earn your runner. You don't need the last runner, the person who got out the last inning, to be on second base. I think that is, to me, I get that you're trying to speed the game up, but like that you take away from the fundamentals of baseball. You take away from like what every fan, every kid that grew up playing baseball loved and enjoyed, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're taking that away. And then the National League also, and you said you liked this. I don't like this. The National League added a permanent DH for all the rest of the season. So now the National League, for the first time in history, will have a designated hitter. And the first contract was Nelson Cruz signing to the Washington Nationals to be a permanent designated hitter. Now, Nelson Cruz last year at 40-something years old in the early 40s still hit almost 30 or 40 homers. He still can hit the ball. And he didn't even play. He was just playing DH all season. So imagine if he played the entire season.
As DH.
As DH. Imagine if he got the same amount of plate appearance as everybody else. And he's probably not going to take a day off because, think about it. He's not playing the field. He's just hitting. Yeah. He's probably not taking days off. He's probably playing 182 games this year. If he doesn't get hurt, barred injuries, he's probably playing 182 games this year. So imagine if this dude, goes through a spell like last season where he can hit homer after homer when he played half the amount of those games and he still hit like 30 or 40.
Yeah,
so is Nelson Cruz going to break the record this year at 43 years old?
I think a record can be broken with the rule though. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, you like having the pitchers being able to hit, but I look to it more as it's like telling Shaq to shoot a 3-pointer. It's not good. Pitchers can hit, but most of them can't. Yeah. And there's no point in wasting an out and wasting a 1/3 of an inning where you could have an offensive player like Nelson Cruz to keep the game interesting. I just think pitchers hitting was kind of a waste of time. If you really wanted a hitting pitcher, I don't know. I think where I'm getting with this.
Yeah, Madison Bumgarner was a hitting pitcher.
He wasn't even he was a good hitting pitcher, but he still wasn't a good hitter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He hit the ball because he was a good hitting pitcher, but he wasn't a good hitter. Like you couldn't have him in the lineup every day to hit.
Yes, you're right. Shohei Ohtani is the only exception to that. But Shohei Ohtani is a position player, but he's a position player that's a two-way player anyway. So he's not a, he's not a everyday pitcher like Madison Bumgarner, like Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke at one point was such a good hitter for the Royals when he first came up that he wanted to go back down in the farm system, stop pitching and play shortstop, and they said no. They said no, we wanted him to pitch, and he was mad because he was taking like 500 or 600 swings a day, like in the batting cage.
That's a good
smacking the ball.
Why would you have your pitcher get hurt?
But like Zach Greinke at one point, literally, I don't know if you know this story, but Zach Greinke re-signed with the Royals, so it just kind of re-brought this memory back up. Zach Greinke re-signed for a 1-year deal with the Royals. Zach Greinke, when he was like his second or third year in the league, completely like 1 year at spring training said, I'm not showing up. I'm done with baseball. I'm going to go cut grass. Literally bought a mower.
I didn't know that.
Bought a mower, bought a trailer, and bought a truck and started a lawn cutting business for like 3 weeks. And like the team had to like call him up and be like, yo, dude, what the hell are you doing? Get your ass back here, like kind of thing. And the players were like, dude, don't waste your talent. Get back here. And he's like, dude, I want to go play shortstop. I want to play shortstop. Move me down and let me play shortstop. And they're like, no, you need to pitch. And it was like, imagine what he went through like with that. So like, I get that like pitchers shouldn't DH because you're risking injury. Imagine if they get hit by a pitch because they hit a batter the inning before, they can get thrown at. You know, like baseball is very vindictive, very or baseball managers, that is, are very vindictive, very easy to get under their skin when it comes to like professional managers. They're very, you know, throw at him, you know, it's like very, very quick to make that decision, which I feel like the MLB should have a lot more stricter punishments on managers that do that because like, for instance, Fernando Tatis Jr., Padres player,
Never Pirates.
Hit a homer last year. In the, I think it was in the 8th inning. And it was a grand slam, and they were up by like 7 runs, right? They were up by 7 runs after the 8th inning, and Fernando Tatis hit a grand slam. Fernando Tatis Jr., hit a grand slam, and the Rangers manager didn't like it. He got mad. They beamed the next player, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Guess what? In baseball, what is the team that's hitting supposed to just completely give up and act like you're not going to try to come back in the 9th inning? What happens if you get a rally and you score 7 runs in the 9th inning? I mean, does it go back to the scenario where he shouldn't have hit a homer? So like, and then the manager's like, yeah, you know, we're trying. Literally the week before, the manager and the Rangers, they came back from a 6-0 deficit and won the game in the 9th inning. And the manager was like, we're never out of the game. We want to play. And then the next week when he hit the homer, he's like, I didn't like it. You know, I didn't like it. Like, who gives a shit about your feelings, bro? Who cares? You're the one that just said that, you know, you feel like your team's never out of it. So, you know, and he hits a homer in the 7th inning or the 8th inning, whenever it was, up by 7, grand slam. I mean, you're going to act like you're not going to try to come back from that? Of course you're going to try to come back from that. I mean, is the defense just supposed to give up in that scenario? Like, is the Padres supposed to be in the 9th inning, just throw you little milk duds down the middle of the plate? No, dude, you're there to compete. You're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but like, it just frustrates me that managers get so butthurt about little things, but then are just the opposite about other things.
Seems like an only baseball problem. It is, because the scenarios are very baseball centric, but
it's insane to me that that's the case. But who has a better year this year, Matt Olson or Freddie Freeman, just individually? Because keep in mind, they're both. So Freddie Freeman's staying in the National League. You know, Matt Olson's moving from the American League to the National League. You know, he's moving complete. Both of them are moving. You know, across countries in the same states, really, because Oakland's in California.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they're both
Matt
swapping states.
No. One's going to Atlanta.
Well, they're swapping states.
Oh, yeah. I got that confused. I thought you meant Matt Olson got traded to the Dodgers. That's what I thought you meant for a second. I was like,
no, Matt Olson went to Atlanta. So they're swapping states.
Yeah, they're swapping states.
So they're not swapping teams, they're just swapping states. Yeah. So how do you think both players are going to perform? Do you think one player is going to perform better? Do you think they're going to perform the same?
I think Freeman's on like a little streak here of being like really, really solid. Like really, Matt Olson is too, but I think Freddie Freeman has just been really good recently. I feel like he's going to have another good year. I think he's due. Yeah. He's not due. He's just consistently good. I don't think Matt Olson's going to have a bad year. I just think Freddie Freeman's going to have a really good year again.
I think they're both going to be right there. I think they're both going to hit for 30 homers at least and a handful of RBIs. I think they're both going to bat around 300. I don't know if they're going to be above or below, but I think they're both going to be very, very efficient for their teams. Like I said, if there was any replacement that was like literally perfect for Freddie Freeman,
Matt Olson, yeah.
It was Matt Olson. I mean, it was, which is crazy because you're trading literally almost the same player. Like Matt Olson's a lefty, or bats from the left side, throws from the right. It's like literally the same player as Freddie Freeman, which is crazy.
You know what team I'm excited to watch this year is the Blue Jays. They're always they're young and electric.
Well, speaking of the Blue Jays, they former player of the Blue Jays, Josh Donaldson, got traded from the Minnesota Twins to the New York Yankees for Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez. That's a lot to give up for a 36-year-old third baseman.
That's another thing.
Two younger players at that are like all-stars, like potential all-stars.
Going back to my argument with the whole baseball situation, it's like, if the Yankees make a wrong decision with that, they end up regretting doing that, there's no consequences for the teams like Yankees. It's just let's go get another one. That's really annoying. Yeah. Sorry, that's another rant. I can probably save myself.
I agree. Speaking of the Yankees, hold up.
Let's see.
Little advertisement plug here.
The Yanksman.
So, if any of you guys are big artwork fans, this week only for about 2 weeks, we have a promo code for Displate.com. I picked up a Derek Jeter poster. These are metal posters. They're 100% metal.
Pretty sweet.
At checkout, use the code AA2Z at checkout. I'll put that on the screen. For Displate, this is the Derek Jeter poster that I got. I got 4 other posters, as well as a Tom Brady one, so Zach didn't like that problem. But,
I don't like Tom Brady.
Yeah, you just don't like Tom Brady. So, go to Displate.com and pick you up a beautiful poster. They're easy to hang and very lightweight, and no drilling of whatsoever into the walls. So continuing on that baseball trend with that, thanks for bringing up the Yankees and that kind of stuff. So I remembered to do that. Let's see. I think that's really kind of the big players in the MLB. No, sorry, Jock Peterson. We had McLando on. Yeah, we had McLando on 2 weeks ago, who was a big Giants fan. And, we talked about how the Giants always make the right decision in free agency. We always talk about how the Giants make the right decision in free agency. They signed Jock Peterson to a 1-year deal. Now, Jock Peterson is a bat that can make or break your team. He is a streaky player though, but he can still at times. I mean, if he has a great season, this dude can put up 40 homers. If he connects with the ball like he's capable of, this dude can easily have a 40 home run season. How do you see Jock Peterson fitting into the Giants? And I'm still not 100% convinced that Buster Posey's retired.
I think he'll be the same player he's always been. Jock Peterson. Very home run or bust centric. I don't see that changing just because he's with the Giants. Isn't this Giants field really easy to hit on though? Isn't it?
Yes,
that's what I thought.
Right field's really short fits.
That's what I thought.
That's why Barry Bonds hit 73 that year.
Yeah, I could. That's obviously going to help a little bit, but
a little bit.
I think he'll have a more productive season, if anything. So.
All right. Well, let's switch gears away from baseball, as there's not really that much else to talk about for now in baseball. Baseball is about to have a lot of transactions, so stay tuned for that. Check out our Instagram as well as Twitter for breaking news on that. We'll also be covering some short stories and stuff like that as well. So let's jump over to the most exciting time of the year for me, that is, in March Madness. This is the most exciting time of the year for me. I got to go grab something to put up and hold on.
Let's see it.
So, in the topic of March Madness, whenever we talk about March Madness, I'm going to wear this until Duke either A, loses or wins the NCAA tournament. Now, I don't even have Duke winning my NCAA bracket. That's how much faith I have in Duke. But guess what? I'm still repping my team until they lose. If they lose. I think I think they're going to be a Sweet 16 Elite 8 team. I think they'll be a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 team. We'll see. They might be, if they make it to the Elite 8, they might upset Zag. If they don't, then guess what? I'm happy. Like Coach K goes out in the Elite 8, I'm super happy. Anyway, March Madness is upon us, and today we record these on Thursday. By the way, we're recording this on Thursday on March 17th. As of today, let's talk about yesterday really quick. The two games that.
The first.
Hold on 1 second before we talk about that. Aaron Rodgers re-signed, knowing that Devontae Adams would never play for the Packers again.
That's just I think that's what's that called? That word I'm saying?
Bullshit.
Skepticism? No.
Skepticism.
When you look too far into something.
Speculation.
I think that's too much speculation.
I mean, this is literally an article that's just got reported by Bleacher Report that says Aaron Rodgers knew Devontae Adams.
Yeah. How does Bleacher Report know that? That's my only thing. Okay.
Pat McAfee probably could pull it out of him, but that's about it. I feel like that would come from Pat McAfee, not because he's on the show every Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. But anyway, let's get back to March Madness here. Repping the Duke blue and the Duke jersey or the Duke hoodie. So let's talk yesterday. So the first two games yesterday, not yesterday, Tuesday and Wednesday. There was only two games on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Texas Southern, number 16 Texas Southern beat number 16 Texas A&M Corpus Christi 76-67. They are the play-in team. These are all the play-in teams, by the way. Indiana beat Wyoming. By the way, I should point out, me and Zach right now, as of right now, we have a perfect bracket.
I'm 8 for
depending upon what happens with the UConn New Mexico State game. Still haven't looked at that. My heart's a little.
I don't have any faith, so I'm not that worried about getting a perfect bracket.
I'm not worried either. So Indiana beat Wyoming, and then on yesterday, Wright State beat Bryant, 93-82. Notre Dame beat Rutgers, 89-87. Those were the 16-16 and the 11-11 respectively. Today, Michigan played Colorado State. Michigan upsetted Colorado State, number 11 and number 6. Michigan won 75-63. Providence, the number 4 seed, beat North Dakota State, the number 13 seed, 66-57. Memphis, the number 9 seed, my boy Penny Hardaway, upsetted Boise State today, the number 9 seed and 8 seed. They're not. Is that really an upset though? 9 and 8. Is it really an upset though? Yeah. But Memphis won 64-53. Watch out for Memphis. I think they can make some noise in this tournament. Baylor, the number 1 seed, destroyed Norfolk State, 85-49. Tennessee also destroyed Longwood, 88-56. I know I made a joke on the Selection Sunday live stream that I said that Longwood, since it was their first time in the NCAA tournament, they might just beat Tennessee. I was joking around. I wasn't being serious. You can tell I was joking. I didn't pick Longwood in my bracket to beat Tennessee 100%. I was completely – as you can tell 100%. By the score, 88-56. We are 100% right now. I had Richmond, number 12 Richmond beating number 5 Iowa 67-63.
I don't know how I put that one out. That one was kind of. I went with my heart.
I went with my I had watched Iowa play the game earlier in the season and they just looked lost, and that's why I didn't choose Iowa. They just looked lost, and I can't remember who they played, who it was, but it was a Big Ten. I think it was Ohio State or like somebody like that. That was like a Big Ten team. Maybe it was Kentucky or Kansas. Kansas is SEC, right? But it was a Big Ten team that they played that they just looked completely lost. Gonzaga beat Georgia State. No surprise there, 93-72. And no surprise here as well. North Carolina, number 8. Unfortunately, I hate saying this as a Duke fan, beat Marquette 95-63. They demolished them. North Carolina just looked completely a step ahead. And did you know, I don't know if you know who Shaka Smart is. He used to coach at Texas Tech. Is now the head coach of Marquette, and I saw him the first time coaching Marquette today, and he got a technical for like running out in the middle of the floor trying to call a travel, and it's good to see he hasn't lost his competitive fire though. But they aren't running his diamond and one pressing scheme, which is weird. So looking at those brackets, currently, Zach, I'm going to ask you to go on a limb here. Who's your Final Four?
Who is it?
Who's your Final Four?
Gonzaga.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at my bracket. In fact,
I can tell you who mine are right off my hand. I have Gonzaga. I have Villanova. I have Auburn, and I have Kentucky. I have Virginia Tech. Sorry, not Kentucky, Virginia Tech. I have Virginia Tech and upsetting Kentucky in the Sweet 16, and then Baylor getting upsetted by Virginia Tech also in the Elite Eight. And then I have. Go ahead.
Oh, wait, you continue. I don't know why I didn't just cut you off.
Then I have Auburn and Baylor in the finals, or not Auburn and Baylor, Auburn and Gonzaga in the finals, and I have Zaga winning it.
So my Final Four: Gonzaga versus Purdue, Villanova versus San Diego State.
Gonzaga versus Purdue. Okay, that's a good choice.
And then Villanova versus
And you said who?
Villanova
versus San Diego State.
I feel like there always is a random seed that gets thrown into the Final Four. That's why I said 11.
That's why I said Virginia Tech, because they're playing incredible. They're playing great basketball.
I think I had them losing in the first round.
You have Virginia Tech losing in the first round?
Listen to me.
To Purdue?
To Texas? To Texas.
Dog, look at their records. Look at their records.
March Madness, man. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Virginia Tech's going to come out there and just.
I think the only reason I went with Texas is because I think so many people are going to put Virginia Tech to win, and I think Texas is going to I think they're going to come in thinking they're underdogs and win. I think Texas is going to win.
We'll see.
Obviously, there's no way to call this stuff.
Yeah, right. Not right now, at least. I think Virginia Tech's gonna be a Cinderella story this season, as well as they performed towards the end of the regular season. And then in the ACC tournament, coming in and just beating everybody the way they beat everybody. I mean, it wasn't a couple point games. No, it was convincing fashion that they beat Carolina and they beat Duke and they beat Notre Dame. I mean, they came in and just mopped the floor with them. I mean, it wasn't even.
So right now, all I need is UConn to beat New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
In all my other games, the team that I have picked is winning right now, so I'm looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, dude. I hope we can have a perfect bracket this year.
Hey.
That would be insane if we have a perfect bracket, first ever in history. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine it. Well, who do you have winning? You have Gonzaga winning? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So we agree on that. We just don't agree. We didn't agree on the Final Four. We both had Villanova, Gonzaga. You had Purdue. I had Virginia Tech. And then I had Auburn, and you had San Diego State.
Yes. A dude that I played against in high school plays for Purdue.
Who's that?
His name's Ethan Morton. He killed me. I guarded him one time. He scored 6 straight points on me, and that was that.
Scored 6 straight points on you. Well, that wasn't hard to do in high school. No offense.
Yeah, he's bigger than me. Way, way, way bigger than me. Obviously,
I would have scored 40 on you in high school.
Yeah. No, this dude Ethan Morton's probably 6'3", 6'4", and I was 5'10". So
I like how you just said I would have scored 40 on you in high school just because of how fast I was, how many picks I had.
Yeah, sure.
But that's besides the point. But anyway, do you think that they're so who are the last 1 seeds to play? It's Arizona and Kansas. So do you think there's an opportunity for a 16 seed to upset a 1 seed this year?
No.
Just okay. Do you think there's a 2 seed that can get upsetted?
At a much higher percentage, yes, but probably not still. I don't see it happening.
3 seed. Who's the first? You think there's a 3 seed that can get upsetted?
I'm gonna look at my bracket again. I think I limit myself with the upsets because I get a little upset happy sometimes. My bracket. Oops.
In one shining moment.
There it is. I have Vermont beating 4 seed Arkansas.
That's right. You did have Vermont. You said that. You had Vermont beating Arkansas. I remember I was talking about that earlier.
I have 3 seed winning. I have.
Do you have Akron beating UCLA? Because that should have been you guys.
Yeah, Kent could have been in there.
I have
playing.
Indiana. My big upset is Indiana beating St. Mary's.
I have St. Mary's winning.
I have Indiana beating St. Mary's. That's where we differ.
And
I think that's
then,
where me and you differed when we went down our brackets.
For the other 3
vastly
seed,
is where it started.
I have Purdue beating Yale at 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I have. Where's the other 3? 3 seed was Tennessee winning. I had them winning.
Yeah, that was a given.
And then I have Wisconsin beating Colgate. So like I have all my 3 seeds winning.
Yeah. So who's your 4?
My 4 seed
fours?
Was the Arkansas losing.
Arkansas losing, okay, to Vermont.
Yes. What were the other 4 seeds?
And it was UCLA and Akron.
Was it? Okay.
Akron and UCLA.
I have UCLA winning. I have Illinois winning.
Illinois and UAB. I have UAB beating Illinois.
I have Illinois winning. And then I had Providence beating them, so like I have that one right. And then everything else from there is I lean more towards not upsets because I think
I had Providence winning as well, but I have UAB beating Illinois because to me I didn't think Illinois was actually a 4 seed this year. They 22-9, they're just not convincing to me. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, but like I said,
I didn't think
you can honestly you can close
seed.
your eyes and click random things on the bracket and you'll still be fine because there's really no chance of you getting something perfect like this. But hey, it's perfect for right now.
So, Odell Beckham just created some drama.
Uh-oh. Was it about Baker?
Let's see here. Where is it? I just got All right. So here's a report that happened 2 minutes ago. It's from Adam Schefter. So we'll get back to the Baker thing here in a second. Hold on. Edit that. All right. So breaking news from Adam Schefter. It was about 3 minutes ago. The Falcons have now pushed back the $7.5 million roster bonus due Friday to Matt Ryan to Tuesday, giving Atlanta 4 extra days to hear about Deshaun Watson's decision and being able to trade Matt Ryan if necessary, per league sources. So do you see how do you see Deshaun Watson fitting into fitting into Atlanta if that does happen? Not saying it's going to happen, but if it does. Or it hasn't happened yet.
I think Deshaun will do. I don't think he'll want to get traded there.
He has a choice.
No, he has a choice. He has a choice.
Oh, yeah, he does have a no-trade clause. You're right.
I think if the Saints make an offer, they're going to go with the Saints offer. I think Saints are a better team. I think the Falcons are really not that good. They don't have any wide receivers now because they just got rid of Russell Gage to the Bucks. That's why I don't think the Bucks are going to sign another wide receiver. Other than that, Deshaun Watson is just going to be like running it back with the Texans. So I don't see him going to the Falcons.
Yeah. All right. So here's the Odell Beckham tweet. This was a tweet he made about 2 minutes ago. As if I needed more motivation. I'm going to make my son proud ASF when I'm done with all this. From what I did on the field, the way I handled the other SHXT that came with it, ZYDN, son, I love you, and daddy gonna make you proud. I mean that. In my next chapter, be waiting.
Nice. So he's not going back to the Rams.
I don't think he's going back to the Rams. So there you go.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham has basically confirmed that he's not going back to the Rams, that he's going to make his newborn son or whatever it was. Bring Chasen full. Buccaneers?
They just signed a wide receiver.
Buccaneers?
Yeah, Russell Gage, right?
Did they sign Russell Gage?
Is that who am I wrong?
No, you're right. I forgot about that. So I didn't even bring that up. So yeah, Russell Gage did sign with Tampa Bay. Oh, well, never mind. They don't need
yeah, because that's what I was saying about
receivers. I didn't even know that.
With Deshaun Watson going to the Atlanta, they have no receivers. Their offensive line, their team stinks. I think Atlanta stinks.
Calvin Ridley's gone for at least the 2022 season, like we had said, in our previous podcast, in our previous show. But I don't know if there's anything else really to talk about right now. Can you think of anything else?
Nope.
I just think it's crazy that like Odell Beckham just completely
I don't think it's a shot at the Rams. I just think he's moving on.
Yeah, I forgot all about Russell Gage though. I'm glad you brought that up. So now I don't think Cole Beasley or Julio Jones are going to the Buccaneers. They got their squad. They're ready to run it back. They just need some more offensive linemen. But we'll see what they do with that. Because Russell Gage is probably a perfect receiver for Tom Brady.
As are most.
Because, I mean, you can play him at wide and, like, put Godwin in the slot. That's a perfect combination because Godwin's got to play slot. But the question is how Godwin's going to be, like, coming off that ACL tear.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes down and if Gronk resigns.
Yep.
But Gronk's already hinted that he's coming back, but we'll see on when that
probably know
actually takes place.
By next show?
Probably by next week or next show, yeah, probably by Sunday. Or on Monday, that is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Spoiler, surprise. But, all right. Well, I think that will do it for this little quick update episode, wherever it is, I guess. The little quick
QB
update show that
list.
the QB tier list that we had and that we argued about for like 30 minutes between Tom Brady. I feel like, because Tom Brady definitely deserves to be on the S tier. Tom, if you're watching this, Tom, if you're watching this, I'm gonna send you this clip on Instagram just so you hopefully you look at it. I'm going to send you the clip where he said that you're not an S tier quarterback, so you can use it as motivation. But and I hope Brady wins the Super Bowl, bro, and he picks up his trophy. And he goes, here's to that guy on that one random show that said he's holding up his trophy. Here's for that stupid idiot online, that Zach guy.
That really, really ugly, stinky kid.
I'd be like, yes, please say that. That gives us publicity. And publicity is good publicity. But anyway, thanks for joining us on this roller coaster of an episode that I have no clue, with no train, no motivation, no thought, whatever it was, whatever it was, no train of thoughts, just coming in here and just, listening to us ramble about random sports stuff. Anyways, I appreciate everybody's time and efforts to watch us, and be sure to go check out Wallkicks.shoes and picking up some Wallkicks, some that we sent you. I think that is going to do it for this quick little charade there. Zach, you got anything to add or say?
Nope.
I should say that UConn was down double digits and just rallied back, made it a 1-point game, and there is 8 minutes left on the clock, so I'm a little scared now. So I'm going to go watch that. Well, hopefully we'll see you on Monday. Peace out. Thank you for watching the AA to Z Sports Show. Please leave us a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more content.